case to the federal level, it really creates a lot stiffer penalties than it would have in Wake County or in Cumberland County, where some of these alleged events happen. But prosecutors are really hoping that this will send a message and it'll put a dent in what they say have been violent biker gangs that have been creating problems from Fayetteville here to Raleigh. New Year's Day 2023, a deadly shooting in Raleigh leaves Jonas Padilla dead after being chased down by suspects on motorcycles. ABC 11 was there as 5 suspects made their first appearance in Wake County Court. But now there may be more to the story. Federal prosecutors believe this was a motorcycle gang rivalry. They're now alleging the suspects with the Hells Angels and Red Devils killed Padilla for being a member of their rival gang, the Pagans.
The Hells Angels consider themselves to be part of the 1%. They call themselves the 1%ers, unlike the 99% of law-abiding motorcycle riders. This indictment alleges that the Hells Angels used violence to protect their power and their territory, including physical assault, murder, threats, and intimidation to silence witnesses and deter cooperation with law enforcement.
The 5 are among 16 suspects named in a racketeering scheme, including attempted murder and witness tampering. Former FBI agent Frank Rostrom says these kinds of biker gangs can be just as dangerous as street gangs.
We learned they would, put people through wood chippers. They had explosives. As you've seen on, TV across the country, they're very, very violent.
He says the group's presence in North Carolina raises alarms because that violence, which is sometimes a rite of passage to rise through the ranks of the gang, can sometimes spill out into the public.
They are a factor that you need to be aware of in your community.
It's why prosecutors hope by connecting the dots, they can dismantle some of these gangs with stiffer penalties.
These groups don't keep us up at night. We keep them up at night.
Now, of course, among those 16 defendants, there are different levels to this, but among those charged with the most serious cases, which would be that federal murder charge, if convicted, that could lead to a mandatory life sentence. Now, I did reach out to lawyers representing all of the defendants in this case. I did hear back from one of them. They tell me everyone is considered innocent until proven guilty, and they look forward to representing their clients throughout this process.
17 members and associates of the Hells Angels are facing criminal charges in a violent attack.
Federal agents allege the outlaws sold drugs, traded firearms, and engaged in insurance fraud and even tampered with government witnesses.
We have learned there is cell phone video as well as surveillance video of evidence in this attack.
The U.S. Attorney characterized today's raids as historic, the largest federal bust on organized criminal gang activity.
Retaliation is common for crimes involving biker gangs. However, it could happen anywhere because of how interconnected gangs have become nationwide.
The 3-year investigation resulted in 42 federal indictments on a variety of charges, including racketeering, money laundering, drugs, gambling, insurance fraud, and extortion.
There's a bunch of bikers up here, and they're shooting guns and stuff. I need the police now.
But on foot going towards 2nd Street. Okay, receive.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we got Biker Wars. A lot of content on the way. There's just so much, it's hard to cover it all as new stories keep popping up every day, and there's not enough time in the day. I have so many interviews and so much content to release, but you guys will see there's a lot of things going on out there, and we're going to talk about a lot of them. There's sad news today. If you guys know who Seth Ferranti is, he was arrested the day before Halloween. And he was I'll play the news clip. Shout out to Seth. I hope he gets through this. Let's take a look at a clip from to see why he was arrested. It's pretty wild.
Tracker tonight, a New Jersey man who has described himself in the past as an LSD kingpin is in the Stewart County Jail. Deputies say he was moving hundreds of pounds of marijuana along I-80. We've learned that 53-year-old Seth Ferranti was stopped for driving on the shoulder in late October. After a search, deputies found 14 boxes with 437 pounds of marijuana inside. He's facing 2 drug charges. This run-of-the-mill arrest has quite the backstory, though. Ferranti is a famous filmmaker, most known for the movie White Boy Rick. Ferranti was arrested in 1993 after 2 years of being on the run. He himself reports in a Vice article that he was, quote, part of the first wave of indictments for LSD. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for continual criminal enterprise charges. Ferranti's next court date is November 18th.
Hey, what's up? I'm Seth Ferranti. I'm chatting with Staxx.
It's a really sad situation. He'll get through it, but he was doing great things with the documentaries and changing his life into a new trajectory. And it's a really hard thing to do. Some people slip back into it, you know. It's a very sad situation, but sending prayers to him. So if you guys haven't checked out the new interview with Ed, shout out to Ed. He was a former Hells Angels member out of California. It's a really good interview. I think it's a 6 or 7 part, but another one's going to drop tonight. And another thing, I did an interview with Bull Harris, and people are commenting. I mean, you can comment whatever you want. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. Don't start commenting, oh, you're going to get your channel, it's going to have problems and all. Don't do that, because I'll just remove you for you, okay? It's pretty simple. Don't just be respectful. That's all I ask. So today we're going to talk about a lot of different things. The situation down where 16 Hells Angels and Red Devils. So this is from the Department of Justice. I didn't make this up, so don't kill the messenger because of the title of the video. This is the title of the Department of Justice. Says 16 Hells Angels, Red Devils, motorcycle gang members face charges related to violent racketeering enterprise. And they're in a world of trouble. The indictment was unsealed in the Eastern District of North Carolina, charging 16 members to outlaw motorcycle gangs, Hells Angels Motorcycle Club and the Red Devils Motorcycle Club, for their alleged roles in a criminal enterprise engaging in criminal activity and violent criminal activity in around Raleigh and Fayetteville, North Carolina. The Red Devils is a main support club nationwide for the Hells Angels. 5 of the defendants are charged with murder in aid of racketeering for allegedly killing a member of the Pagans Motorcycle Club, a rival gang, on January 1st, 2023. 2 Raleigh and additional defendants have been charged with accessory after the fact for their alleged actions following that murder. 8 defendants are charged with attempted murder in aid of racketeering, assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering for their alleged roles in the July 22nd, 2023 violent assault of a pagan member in the parking lot of a Dairy Queen restaurant in Wade, North Carolina. And if you guys don't remember that one, that's the one where the guy was filling up his gas tank. Let me see if I could get the picture. I thought I had a picture of it. He was filling up his gas tank, and I do have a picture of it. And another guy came up with an axe handle and hit him in the head with it while he was pumping his gas. It's pretty crazy. The question I have is, do you think that these motorcycle clubs can coexist and not be fighting like this? Because the guy on the motorcycle, he had support gear on, allegedly, and the pagan is the one that hit him with I think it's a baseball bat or an axe handle or something like that. So that's the one that they're talking about. Another case they're talking about is when a pagan member was riding through, I believe it was Fayetteville, and he was shot off his bike in Raleigh. I have a picture of those defendants too. These are the people involved. allegedly. Shout out to everyone that watches this show. I appreciate you. How you doing, Lindsay? Thank you for watching. Tracy, how are you? And I'm trying to show you guys, I'm explaining these stories that are going on around the country, but I want you to know that these are not gangs. They put it in the news a lot, and I've had debates with people about this. Some people think just because they're in a club means that they're a gang member, like they're all criminals. And I've had crazy debates with people. I'm going to bring some people on this show who feel like they're all criminals, and we're going to hash it out on here, and we're going to talk about it and see what their point of view is. We're going to bring some ex-members on, and we're going to have a talk about all of it. So it says, now this is this case, I believe. They were charged with attempted murder. One defendant was charged with obstruction for allegedly attempting to dissuade a witness from assisting the criminal investigation in the case. Now, if you intimidate a witness, you're going to just add time onto your sentence. It doesn't matter. Like, these people are looking at life sentences. So according to the indictment, these defendants were leaders, organizers, and members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club and committed multiple crimes to advance their positions in the violent gang. I highly doubt that's the case. They don't have like, oh, kill this guy and you'll get this rank. Do this and you'll become this. It doesn't work like that. I've spoken to so many different members, and it doesn't work like that. And if they are doing that type of activity, it's of their own volition. It's separate from the whole motorcycle club. They're not running it as a criminal enterprise. So it says, so they committed multiple crimes to advance their positions in the violent gang. The principal deputy assistant attorney general, head of Department of Justice, Criminal Division. The gang's alleged violent acts include murder of a rival gang member in the public street, and the assault and attempted murder of a rival gang member in a restaurant parking lot. This indictment demonstrates that along with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, Criminal Division is committed to holding people accountable and those responsible for the violence that terrorize local communities. 2 years ago, they launched a violent crime action plan to partner with local law enforcement to identify the individuals and groups driving violence in North Carolina, especially criminal enterprises that support and encourage violence by their members, said U.S. Attorney. We'll keep pushing cases like this one, charging violent crimes in aid of racketeering to expose patterns of violence and hold gang members and those who enable them accountable. Outlaw motorcycle gangs are notorious, lawless, and violent behavior, Special Agent said. Charlotte Field Division, these criminal organizations are allegedly responsible for a long list of illegal activities, including firearms trafficking, assault, and homicide. They operate with absolute no regard for the safety of law enforcement or the community. ATF is proud to stand with law enforcement partner to be part of the effort to disrupt and disband such violent and dangerous networks. I am proud to stand with my federal, state, local partners in investigating disturbing, violent organizations that demonstrate blatant disregard for life and will pursue any method to advance their criminal enterprise in our great city, the chief said. Raleigh Police Department and our community will not tolerate disruptive behavior, and we will work tirelessly with law enforcement partners to identify those responsible to ensure that they are held accountable. I am grateful to the U.S. Attorney and their team for continued dedication and steadfast commitment to public safety. and also thank the ATF and blah, blah, blah. Operation Broken Halo has been an ongoing investigation into the Fayetteville Police Department and the ATF, who allege a criminal enterprise connected to an outlaw motorcycle gang. They should be investigating the police department. Definitely. Because I guarantee you that they're involved with some criminal behavior as well. Though the collaboration and partnership with the ATF, other supporting agencies are able to successfully bring charges against numerous members of this outlaw motorcycle gang, their supporting clubs, the Fayetteville Police Department remains committed to our partnership with federal and state and local agencies to remove violent criminals from our community. I want to make it clear, violent activity is not tolerated in Cumberland County. Sheriff said. The sheriff's office is 100% committed to maintain a safe, peaceful community. We thoroughly investigate all tips. It is vital to the community to continue to report on these blah, blah, blah. Most of the charges are being brought under the Violent Crimes Aid of Racketeering Activity statute, which makes it illegal to commit certain violent crimes for purpose of joining, maintaining one's position with, or moving up the ranks within the enterprise. The violent crimes include, in the statute, which include murder, kidnapping, maiming, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault resulting in serious bodily injury, threatening to commit crime of violence. The indictment alleges that 16 defendants are members or associates of HAMC, a violent outlaw motorcycle group that allegedly uses violence, threats, and intimidation to carry out their perceived mission to enforce its rules. That's 100% not the case. I don't know why they would report on that. That's not the case. According to the indictment, the RDMC, the Red Devils motorcycle members, are subservient to the Hells Angels and provide support by acting as a source of recruitment for the Hells Angels to carry out violent acts to further the Hells Angels' interest. We got a bunch of comments. Joe Blunts, what's up, man? How are you? Q-Ball, what's good? Thank you guys all for watching. Take a look at the news report, and I'll be right back.
Tom George, ABC 11, Eyewitness News.
So we got a lot of information, different things going on. Hey, what's up, Raven? How are you? Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate all you guys. So I got a lot of content dropping. I'm going to keep dropping content. And if you guys know, I'm out of breath like crazy, but if you guys know who Blue Boy is, shout out to Blue Boy. Blue Boy is an infamous legend out of New York City. He's a famous Crip. He was on Vlad TV. And so he was in prison. He did almost 40 years in prison, about 30 years. He's good friends with Mike Tyson. He stuck up for Mike Tyson when he was in a juvenile detention facility. Shout out to Mike Tyson. I know what it's like to be in a juvenile detention facility. A lot of people don't know what it's like, but it's pretty crazy, especially for a white boy. We're going to get into some of those stories later down the road. So Blue Boy got arrested at the age of 16 for a murder. He went to prison. Crazy things were happening. If you guys don't know who Larry Davis is, in, I believe, 1986, I think, Larry Davis was arrested for shooting at 6 police officers. He shot 6 police officers, and they all survived. So he was wanted for a bunch of murders. They ended up convicting him and giving him a life sentence. He went to prison. He came across Blue Boy in prison. Blue Boy had a problem with another guy in prison. They got into it. Somehow Larry Davis got the wrong end of Blue Boy, and Blue Boy killed Larry Davis, stabbed him. He's been convicted of the crime. He got an extra 10 years, I believe, onto his sentence. So he served out all that time in prison. He ended up getting paroled, and he was on lifetime parole, I believe, Blue Boy was. And he got a job as a security guard at a marijuana dispensary. Now, this is Blue Boy now. Shout out to call outs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. So he got a job at a marijuana dispensary after all that, right? In Manhattan. There was a robbery attempt. A young kid pulled out a gun, went to rob the dispensary. Blue Boy grabbed the gun, allegedly grabbed the gun from the kid and shot him. He did not kill the kid, but he shot the kid, allegedly. This is all alleged. So he got arrested, violated his parole, he's back in prison, and he called me the other day. Shout out to Blue Boy. We had a good conversation, and I put together this small documentary type. It's like a mini documentary. It's not long. It's about 6 minutes long, I think. But go check out Blue Boy Chronicles. I'm going to drop the link. There's a Patreon. There's TikTok. You guys can hear his stories. It costs $5. It's not a lot. Go support Blue Boy. He has a website, blueboychronicles.com. He has a TikTok. Here, I'm going to drop the link for the TikTok. There's the TikTok. Go subscribe. Trying to see if I can find a I don't know if I could play his thing on there. But I'm trying to find the link for his Patreon. If I can get it for you, I will. Right here, bam. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Blue Boy Chronicles. I want to make sure it's the right one. Let me make sure it's the right one. 3 days ago, here you go. Blue Boy Chronicles, found it. Make sure you guys go subscribe. It's only $5 a month. If you want to donate to Blue Boy, you can go through his website, I believe. But it's pretty good. I tell you about his life and things that have happened, and then I put a message for you guys at the end of the thing that I did. So you guys will see that soon. I'll be dropping it this week. We got some new members that are going to be joining us. We give away a membership every Monday. We gave away one last night. I believe it was to Anthony, someone named Anthony. Shout out to Anthony for winning the membership Monday. We give memberships away every Monday. If you guys want to make sure you guys tune in. We got all kinds of new people that are going to be hitting the scene on Chatting with Staxx. We're going to keep pumping out this content for you guys. Let me finish this article. But I want to know your perspective. Do you believe that all motorcycle clubs, if they're a 1% club, do you believe that they're all criminals? That's what I want to know from you. Write it in the comments if you think all these motorcycle clubs are criminals. Like someone told me, right? Like you have people that go to church. There's some people that commit crimes that go to church. Doesn't mean the church is involved with what these people are doing. Just because you're a member of the church, they're not doing it to run up the ranks in church. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it on their own. So if people are out committing crimes, it doesn't mean the whole thing is bad. But some people have a one-track mind, and that's how they think. Vital Rashad Reed, 31, also known as Hootie. Anthony Edward Cleaver, 34, known as Rowdy. David Stevens, 26, also known as 007. Martinus Starks, also known as T. Taylor Grissom, 31, also known as Snow, are all allegedly members of the Red Devils Motorcycle Club, are each charged with one count of murder in aid of racketeering. They're screwed. It carries a mandatory life sentence if convicted. They're charged with discharge of a firearm, connection with the crime of violence, in doing so causing the death related to the alleged murder of a pagan motorcycle club member, January 1st, 2023. Murder in aid of racketeering carries a mandatory life sentence if convicted. Christopher Manor, 28, and Robert Scott Brown, 62, are both charged with accessories after the fact in that murder. As alleged, Manor was a member of Red Devils Motorcycle Club. An alleged offense, Brown was a member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. Each face a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jamie. I'll be dropping tons of content. If you guys haven't seen it, go look at the members. If you guys are having a hard time trying to find my videos, when you go to YouTube, click on live videos and scroll down that, and you will see all the content. They're under live videos if you want to see a lot of the interviews. So I don't think they show this guy. Jason Hathaway, 47, and Fred Joseph Prosperi, 42, also known as Freddie and Snowboy. William Gardner, 33, also known as Big Will. Terry Enkins, 51. J.R. Dar, 31. Daryl Strickland, 26. William Beasley, 64, and David Woodall, 45, are charged with attempted murder in aid of racketeering, assault with a deadly weapon in aid of racketeering related to the alleged attempted murder and assault with a dangerous weapon on Pagan's member July 22nd, 2023, in the parking lot of a Dairy Queen restaurant, Wade, in North Carolina. They were allegedly members of the Hells Angels at the time of the offense. If convicted, each face a mandatory term of 30 years in prison. Now, that has to do with this offense. And I don't even think they touched the guy. That's what's crazy when they hit you with conspiracy. You don't even have to do anything. You're just around these people. Jonathan Robarg, 40, was charged with tampering with a witness. the victim or informant by harassment. He's alleged have ties with the Hells Angels and the Red Devils. If convicted, face a maximum penalty of 3 years in prison. A federal district judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines. The ATF, Raleigh, Fayetteville Police Departments, and Cumberland County Sheriff's Office are investigating the case. Trial attorney says the Division Violent Crimes Racketeering Section and assistant attorneys Eastern District of North Carolina will be prosecuting the case. Shit's crazy. But I don't think that if someone's involved with one of these clubs, it doesn't make you a criminal. But some people argue with that. They say that if you're involved with any of these 1% clubs, that means you're a straight up criminal. I don't think that's the fact. But I'm going to bring someone on who really believes that if you're involved in any way with these clubs, that means you're a criminal. And we're going to have a debate about it and see why he thinks that way. And he's a former ATF agent too. Just like RICO laws, conspiracy is just a statute that allows the government the ability to throw out the Constitution. 100%, Brian. It's crazy. My sponsor was a freaking radiologist. Someone else said something. A member of one of these clubs said to me, he said, people think that they're all MMA fighters and all badass fighters, and that's just not the case. He said a lot of them just drink beer and smoke pot and like to ride bikes and eat good food, and they're not all in good shape. And MMA fighters, they're not all criminals. They're just normal people who like to ride with a group of people, but they're turning it into something that it's not. And I think it's going to end up going bad with a lot of these people getting in trouble for different things. They're making it look bad for the whole club. But there's a lot more biker wars that we're going to go over, because there was a recent arrest with a bunch of Mongols, and we're going to go over that one in Palm Springs, I believe. I guess they're having a anniversary, and a bunch of craziness is going on. But we're going to cover that too. And make sure you check out the interviews that I got. Exclusive content. You can't see it anywhere else. I'm getting ready to do another interview for you guys right now. So if you guys like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too fucking bad. Start your own podcast. I appreciate all you guys. Have a great day. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now, accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.